Hello and welcome to this tranquil little lake by night, somewhere near the forgotten temple on the Isle of Dread. I've taken the liberty of clearing out the guards here, so hopefully we will be left alone to enjoy the peaceful setting. I think we've got some pterodactyl type things circling in the air above us. Hopefully nothing overly sinister will come up out of this water and disturb the scene. Right, so I've done my best. We're kind of caught up now, by the way, on the pre-recorded front. So this one is being recorded with the benefit of all the comments that you folks made about the last one. I've tried to take on board those things and act upon them where possible. So, what do we have to share this time around? I finished the Sentinels chain and took the saga, and we finished all of the Isle of Dread except for this one, the Forbidden Temple. Now for some reason this one's a level 8 quest and the rest are all 7, so I finished all those, took the level 10. Now I've reorganised the enhancements somewhat on the back of what you folks have been telling me, and on the back of the spells that have come available. So level 10 we got access to our first level 5 spell. I went for Flame Strike for some AoE power. I know it's not the best in the world and it is a bit of a slow cast, so I've quickened it, but it is going to be quite costly. Being that it's our second fire spell now, I took the liberty of adding this improved Scorch on, so we can cast that first, hopefully, to soften things up or make them vulnerable to the follow-up, which could be that. Now, Wagon keeps mentioning that I'm criminally underusing the Holy Smite and I need to start leading with it. I've been leading with the Sound Burst to try to get things stunned and then really hammer them with the follow-up damage, but he's quite rightly pointing out that this will blind targets as well, and it also has a higher save, being a higher level spell, so there's that. What else do we have on this side? Yes, I think it was Mike mentioned that we did not have the Sunbolt SLA. I've added that back. I'm sorry if there's a lot of swapping and changing, but I'd ask you to give me a little bit of latitude, given that many of these classes I've either played them as something else, like the Favoured Soul with my main character was done as an Inquisitive, so completely cheesed. So it's the first time really I'm experiencing the class as it should be played, really. So I'd ask for a little bit of leeway on that front, and that's why I keep swapping and changing, just to see what works, what doesn't, and at which levels. So we've added that back on. We've got all the meta magics on it. We've got the 2 cores in here. I mean, they're not the best in the world, but that's going to give us a bit more damage against things that are hitting us, maybe end bosses, so that's quite good perhaps. And this just taking saving throws away from things near us heightens the chance that we can get full damage from our spells, or that we can succeed in a crowd control in the case of the Sound Burst. I think this is pretty much as it was. Maybe I've just added that 1 core in there because each core in here is 10 healing amp, 1 positive spell crit chance and 5 positive spell power, so that's really good, the cores in here. There's a definite argument for saying I should look to add another couple of points to get that 3rd core, even if I'm not really interested in the what's being given here with these. That's actually an enhancement, isn't it? Some kind of a healing thing. I haven't even put it on the bar because closed wounds is kind of it for our healing. But I took that for the healing amp. Right, so that's where we're at with the enhancements. The Reaper trees I've rejigged at 10 to cater for the second tier, so I've taken all the gumph out of there. Kept the Reaper's power thing going. We've lost one charge of Reaper's power because I haven't got the thing in there anymore, but we have gained some spell power, another DC, another charisma in here, plus some defense as well, more dodge, more hit points, bit more reflex save. So all in all, we're stronger for the reorganization, I think. Gear wise as well, we've had quite a change round. That's the same, and that's the only item that we've kept. No, we've kept 3 that I can notice. Actually 4, including our light orb. That's going to stay with us until when? Maybe until level 21 epic. I would have liked to swap it for a Fury Orb from Shan at 15, which is just like an upgrade of the same thing basically. But we don't have one. So we've kept the Suncatcher helm for the 2 profane DC bonus. The life force is a nice thing too, as is the speed on the augment slot. The boots I've switched to it's not really that important for this build because we do have the freedom of movement spell. I'll have to remember not to cast it now and save a few spell points. Just going to wear these for 1 level. They come from Ravenloft Death House, I think it is. So a nice bit of extra defense, reflex saves, armor. Our AC, even though we're in robes, is not horrible for the level. What's it saying? Defense chance at level 55, so there's a chance of a few misses. The saves in general there are very good for the level, I think. Reflex will be up into the 30s as well in Reaper. Fortification's nice because we've got on this mysterious cloak we're wearing heavy fort sapphire on there, so that's nice. The 2 stats we're really bothered about, 30 and 37, so not terrible there. And the PRR isn't amazing, but the MRR is looking great. That's almost at the cap for robes, so that's not too shabby. So defensively at least we're on top of the game. That said, I was about to tell you that we got a pasting in some of the quests in the Isle of Dread so far. Whenever things get within melee range, they just start chewing up our health point pool. There's some nasty little buggers in there. And some of these tight little cavern things with the Etacaps are just brutal. They between the Etacaps, the bullywugs, and the spiders, they sort of have this jump aroundy animation which makes it very difficult to target and land the ray based spells, or even the AoE things, because sometimes they can sort of charge down the side of you while you're trying to aim the spell, and so nothing goes off because the thing that you're targeting is down the side instead of in front of you, or there's a bit of lag and it doesn't go off. And I was having trouble. I never died, but I had quite a bit of trouble, especially with the Etacaps. Now I was going to ask you folks a question. I think I must know the answer. I don't think they're vulnerable at all to the sound burst, are they, those things? I couldn't seem to stop them at all, so either they have a very high fort save or that just doesn't work on them at all. I guess, what do I guess? Maybe something like colour spray would have been needed to stop those buggers. So that's the defences. Now the gear, yeah, we've got a mixture of Canith crafted and 3-piece Ravenloft caster set. So on the goggles, I've gone for Canith crafted for 5 bonus on evocation. So we're now up to 37 on the sound burst, which would become 39, 40 I think in Reaper, which for kind of middle heroic is that's not too shabby. We should be doing a lot better than we are, I think, with that. It's either me trying to target the wrong things with it, or targeting things that are just not vulnerable to it, because 40 at this level should be doing alright, I think. The three-piece Shan casters, Shan Ravenloft casters set. So this one has this is another reason for our armor class. We've got a shield bonus on there, and the things at the bottom, the Mythic and Reaper things, that's helping us a little bit as well. The gloves are nice because up until here we didn't have, between level 6 and now we didn't have any source of blur. So this lesser displacement thing is a nice mischance, extra mischance for us. And the belt, I'd started off with the fire belt, the burn scar sash, and then I realised it didn't have a master's gift slotted in it, and I don't want to be messing about unslotting things, because those the jeweler's toolkits cost DDO points. So I stuck with this one, which is decent for us anyway. We want positive spell power and crit chance, so that's good. And it's just the same part of the Ravenloft caster set. So then I was looking for level 10. You know those forum post things that come as rewards from the anniversary event. They can come in all flavours, can't they? Acid, electric, cold, you name it, and every 5 levels. For some reason, the level 10 fire one, the flaming forum post, I can't find to save my life. So I've compromised and gone for the 10 Barovian Scepter, which is giving a bit to all spell powers. Unfortunately, we're losing fire crit chance there, but I have kept in the Spinneret from level 8, which is giving spell law, so at least that's 4 extra for fire, plus that 1 extra on the spell DCs for the quality mastery. So it's not terrible. We're I'd say it's reasonable. We're over 200 on fire and light. The fire crit chance is not doing it for me. It should be quite a bit higher than that, but the light one is alright, and it's predominantly light still that we're casting. We've got the Holy Smite, Sunbolt, Searing Light, and Deific Vengeance. If I'm correct, all of those go off the light spell power. Doesn't half of that go off light as well? What does it... half the damage is fire, half from pure divine power. Does that scale off nothing, or... I don't know, it's a bit unclear, that. Maybe off nothing, maybe off the divine power. And the Canith crafted stuff, just standard stuff. This is a particularly nice one for this build. Charisma and extra charisma, con for the hit points. Radiance is very nice. Spell sight we don't need because we have it on the scepter. And insightful corrosion, I wish that was instead either combustion or devotion for the healing or the fire. That's come from my main character and his time as an acid warlock. That's a nice item for both defense and attack. PRR, MRR, light crit chance, very nice. Wizardry, we'll happily take that, more spell points. And insightful PRR. And another nice defensive item, extra bonus to saves. A spell save, so if the things are coming from spells, we have 5 more on our saves. Actually, I think maybe 6 more, because in the Tiefling tree, yeah, we have 1 saves versus spells on there. And the Sapphire of Defense is redundant because we've got 14 sheltering already from that item. And the scepter you've already seen. It's just a boost to general spell power. So we're not in a bad place with the gear, and the set bonus is giving us a little bit more spell power DCs, raising the MRR cap by 10, which we're taking advantage of because we're up to 58. That should be stopped at 50 with the robes. So gear wise I'm pretty happy. Added in these planar girds which come from the Quest in Jurassico, what's it called, the Zorian Cipher, and they're particularly good for us at the moment because my UMD is not really high enough to reliably cast a Greater Heroism Scroll, so we'll happily take these. 4 more onto our saves and skills. I think that's about it for the gear. Now I had a truckload of notes written down here, some of which I've already shared. Oh yeah, I died in the first quest in the Isle of Dread, the opening one versus the Aquamancers at the end on the ship. They knocked me down and basically that was all she wrote. I never got up. Oh yes, many thanks for the helpful discussions that we're starting to have about the monk. I really don't... the only little bits that I've picked up along the way are from a very good monk player on my server, Orion, called Drexnan, who, if you've ever played with him, you probably know he's a very selfless player, and good though he is, I think he's one of these who wanders around with 200 Reaper points. Never sort of casts a shadow on anybody else, you know, not one of these types at all. And if he can do anything to help you out, I know, well, both Purple and my main Fools have got raid shields from him. He's one of these who saves up the items that can be transferred to other players, and if people, sometimes people like me who raid very little, are stuck for something, in my case the alchemical shields, which I think, do they drop from the legendary Lord of Blades, is it? I think we had real trouble trying to complete that one in our little group. But yes, he's the one I've seen doing the monk type stuff. I'm pretty sure he uses the hand wraps, so the stick build is going to be an eye-opener for me. But I like the thought of doing something on a similar lines to how we were trying to build the Eldritch Knight, you know, going on strike through multiple targets. One of you mentioned, I think it was Loco, mentioned some form of DCs. I like that. I like my DCs. Playing alone, you need to be able to contain stuff and stop nasty things. So I like the sound of that. And healing as well. I know these finishing moves, I think that's got the potential to be really confusing, but I think it was Wagon who mentioned you only really need, is it 1 or maybe 2 combinations? Is it light and light, dark, or light, light, or something? I'm going to have to get to understand that better. And this business with the stances. I think one of you said that if you're doing the Wisdom Monk, you need to be using the water stance, is it? Something like that. I'll have to be getting to read like you've suggested, so I'm not just wandering around and having to change things constantly. Yeah, this business with the floating, I just got it at a bad time, didn't I? I noticed immediately after I'd recorded that. It wasn't just doing it in there, by the way, it was doing it in any section with pipes. As luck would have it, I tried another one in Beneath, the concluding part of that chain, where you go through a sort of a sewer section, you know, with rats and things and pipes everywhere, and it was doing it in some bits of there as well. So it really needed correcting. And thankfully the day after they did the, is it 60.1 patch or something that has allegedly corrected that. I haven't been back in to find out, but hopefully. In other news, I almost drowned in the tar pits quest. I thought I was very clever in whizzing through the bottom section and jumping from rock to rock, and then all of a sudden I my rock disappeared and I was in the lava, and a rock appeared on top of me, and I wasn't able to get out. I was just stuck taking the ticking lava damage. So thankfully, just in time, the rock above me dissipated, allowing me to jump clear. But that would have been a pretty ignominious death. Eticaps we've mentioned, they really did hammer us. I think I remember my main character Fools when doing that quest on Legendary having a really rough time with those red crown eticaps. Just not good times at all. I actually ran out of spell points in that quest, and a combination of the temporary spell point triggers from the Just Cause in the is it Avenging, what's it called, that tree? Angel of Vengeance tree, that. And the low cost of the spells and heals saved us until we could get to a shrine. What's this I've written? Oh, yeah. In another quest with these big red crown dinos. My god, are they spell point sinks. In fact, there was a lot of stuff that wasn't particularly vulnerable to the Holy Smite. I didn't at the time have the Flame Strike, and I had swapped out the Ash, so I was quite light on AOE, and these things were just eating up all my spell points. These big red dinosaurs. I think they must have had damage reduction as well. Not happy times. And I really did miss the flame jet thing. I took it away from. I did most of the Isle of Dread without it, and I had the this SLA kind of in its place, and I missed it. I missed that, especially as it's such low cost. Uh, what else have we got here? Yes, I can confirm that the Holy Smite is doing really horrible damage to the Reapers. I said that as though I felt sorry for them. No sympathy for Reapers here after what they've done to me. I think back to was it the second quest in this particular life? Start quest, turn corner, two Reapers, that's all she wrote. Yeah, so no Reaper sympathy. That's the anti-Reaper thing, that. Probably lead with the sound burst. Maybe not even need to lead with the sound burst, just hit them with that and they should disappear. As Wagon has pointed out, that does double damage against Reapers. Evil outsiders, which they are, take twice the damage. So it's a bit like the Druid has something which really slaughters them as well, but that's only single target. The Word of Balance, that's an absolute must go to when you're faced with a Reaper. Yeah, I'd been doing the Soundburst and Holy Smite combination, but Wagon reckons I should lead with this and just blind them. So let's see if we can manage to act on the advice. I'm not overly optimistic. I take a terribly long time to change in response to advice. Like the Sunburst, I've added it to the bar on Mike's recommendation. It'll probably sit there unused. I hope not. Oh yeah. Now this build in particular, even from early on, is capable of killing nastier targets from extreme range with things like the Sunbolt and the Searing Light, both of which that's on an extremely short cooldown, so that's a big advantage. Assuming you are able to get the extreme range. Uh, And the flame strike thing we've discussed. Right, I think that's it for all the waffle. Now, I know that this is not going to be straightforward. I just know these what do they call them? Copru, with those balls that they throw at you that drain your stats. That's no joke. Now I was supposed to do that, wasn't I? I was supposed to go and check if I could get. I don't think I can do Greater Resto until 11, can I, on a scroll? But I could have tried for restoration scrolls, and I bet as a favoured soul, there's not even a casting. What do you call it? A chance to activate check like there is for these arcane ones. So that's a silly oversight. Unless I happen to have just packed some anyway and not put them on the bar, but that would be unusually proactive on my part. No, I can't see any. So we'll have to try and manage, but that's the biggest worry I have, that stat damage.
Judging from the temple's ornate construction and secure location, this place has been the seat of Kopru power on the Isle of Dread for a long, long
So we've obviously collected the 3 thingies. I'm not going to make this any harder than it already is. Right. Now what do... Oh crikey, I've lost a lot of the resistances on the gear, so we need everything apart from fire. We do have a noticeable amount more spell points than we had in the past with this wizardry thing added, so we don't need freedom at the moment. We'll get that cast on. So saves now in Reaper are looking tasty, aren't they, with the greater heroism on. And the DC now for the Soundburst 40, for the Holy Smite 42, so they're in a good place too. So yes, the biggest worry I have is those Kopru and being made helpless. Now let's just oh yes, one shot the old Famine Reaper there. Oh, can't you come at us all together? That was nice. I'm adjusting to some new keys as well. That flame strike was supposed to be a holy smite. Actually, I would do well to swap that, wouldn't I? Because the holy smite is half the cost. There's still a lot of unactivated stuff in here, isn't there? I really don't want to go charging in there because that's a very easy way to die, in my opinion. Look at this, we're already halfway down, health-wise. Are they going to come to life over there? Yup. Right, so yes, there is an argument for saying just save the sound burst, go in with the Holy Smite first and just do damage. Yeah. Okay, Wagon, consider your point well made. Especially if there happen to be Reapers in the area. So that's a nice combo. Oh, 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 oh. So sound burst and then the flames is a nice... I've got. I bought off the auction house because I realised I didn't have any feather fall item. I've got some boots here. Should we require feather falling at any stage? I'm not sure if we do in this quest. Well, that looked good. That was very good. Yeah, there's so often in this quest stuff just hiding round corners, the little beggars. Nice. Oh, okay. I forgot about that. I think that's okay, is it? Yeah. Now let's try and remember which way we are supposed to go. Unlike many of you, I haven't run this content too much. I know many of the endgame players especially have run it quite a lot for the ingredients for the end gear, and I can well understand why. Spell point wise, we seem to be doing well. I took Quicken off the Holy Smite and Soundburst because it there seem to be times, like with the closed wounds, when you start casting so fast that the game just doesn't seem to be able to keep up, and nothing happens except for the fact you lose your spell points that you've casted with. Now this is where our range is really going to help us. So we don't have to go and stand right next to the thing. Happy days.
Opens, a section of the wall slides away, revealing a waterlogged passage.
This is one of the levers I've traditionally always missed. Because it's just squirreled away behind the... what's going on? Is that lag? What's happening? Squirreled away behind the door there. I've often just walked straight past it. Can we do a two-shot? No. They don't like the old light and good damage though, those things, do they?
You notice a small target lever on the far side of the room.
Oh, okay. I wasn't quite sure where we were.
Flames of the trap got around. Swarm of rats leap out and attack.
See, I did a sound burst there, and for one reason or another, nothing happened. And there, we got success. It's quite a difference. Oh, hello. Yeah, proof that the... I was wondering if you wondered what the pause was for. I was trying to remember which key the Holy Smite was. I wanted to test the one-shotting theory, and it does indeed one-shot the Reaper. I think these all come to life, don't they? Oh, yes! Beautiful. I love the animation of the flame strike as a useful thing. I think most people would argue it's a bit clunky in the way it comes down. I do have it quickened. just as with the scorch, you get that rush of flame. So with the flame strike, there's that big rushing noise when all the flames come down. I'm quite a fan of that. It's quite immersive. Ooh, now how do we deal with them? Flame strike? No. I think the answer is we struggle a bit. I guess colour spray would have been a good one against them if we'd had it. Oh, now this. Oh, now this. Oh, God. This whole room is just an absolute shite fest, isn't it? Things are buggers to kill, and you have to get quite close to them to actually get them to activate. I think what I'm going to do, activate them and then back off a bit, because I really don't want to be anywhere near them unless I can't help it. And I want to be leading with that sound burst every time, because if they get a chance to start throwing all that crap at us, there's going to be a whole load of trouble. I think there's one. Oh, and these things, these acid things are a bit lethal as well, aren't they? Or did we not get one for that one? Okay. It's holding up quite well, the sound burst against those things. I'm happy about that. Yeah, nice. And our single targets, we've got the Deific Vengeance, Searing Light, Sunbolt. They're doing the business for us. In case you haven't picked up on it, I'm terrified of those things because I know what they can do. They can make you helpless in very short order. A couple of spells seem to go missing there, or the effect happened and nothing happened. I think maybe again I was trying to cast too fast in quick succession. I'm wary of those things as well. Oh, come on again. Nice.
The last orb shatters.
Is there another one here, or is that it? No, that's it. Now, do we rest? Yes, do. I think that's about as well as I've done in that place on the back of the sound burst, so it really came good there. Quite happy with that. And yes, Wagon, we must take the heighten feat at some stage, so that that's still relevant. I mean, I'm wanting to use evocation for just everything. So we use it on the goggles. We use it for all our spells, be it CC or damage. Just that for everything, and then easy life. I think I'm right in saying even the sort of death type magic that they get later on, is it called implosion? I think even that is evocation based, which I was surprised at. It might give us a chance to use it. There's some tasty stuff, isn't there, coming? I was looking at some of the spells at the later levels. There's something with like a wave of fire comet things that the bear loves because it makes a hell of a lot of noise. And there's my favourite from my druid fire side. Is it Firestorm it's called? That's very efficient for clearing packs of things. Oh crikey, you're tough. Now this is one thing that's apparent. We've nothing to hold these elemental types, have we? Nothing at all. But if I could have chosen between holding the elementals and holding the Copru, I'd have gone Copru every time. All of these things are red crowns. They can all probably one or two shot us. So I'm quite happy to be able to contain them when we need to. Yeah, we're crap against these water things, aren't we? That's unfortunate. I threw everything I had there, both AoE, in fact all three AoE I put in there. And we just don't have it, do we, against them? Actually, I got a better order there, didn't I? I must lead when I'm doing that with the ash, and then the flame strike, and then we get some purple numbers then, don't we? Crud, mistake, wrong key. I can just see it now from you, Wagon. Whatever the time stamp is for this particular moment, why on earth didn't you lead with the Holy Smite? The answer is I genuinely don't know. I pressed the wrong key, Your Honour. Panicked. Oh crud, I've done it again. Do we actually need to go down there now? Maybe not. Right. Flames. Flames. Well, Holy Smite does next to nothing against them, does it? Is it because they're neutral?
Your sense of a malignant presence grows ever stronger.
Where is he? There. I think that's about the best I've got against them. The Scorch and then the flame thing. It's not great, but reasonable. Do we have to go down there? Yes, we do. Let's try it here. Well, there's a copious amount of lag there. Oh, come on. What the hell? Game, please. I think I'm suspended on those jellies. Or it was just lagging badly. Are you still... Crikey, wasn't held. Oh! They are tough buggers. He's taken, what, 5, 6 shots and he was still coming. Where's your little crest thing? There, okay. Did we get it? Yeah. Yeah, well, I can't be accused of choosing a quest that favoured us this time. Certainly not. Quite a few of the things could not be sound bursted. So this kind of thing I don't think we've any crowd control against. Unless, unless I led with the Holy Smite, and could we maybe blind it like that? Well, that's one thing I haven't tried. Maybe if we get another crowd of those things, I'll try that. Okay. Are they blind? I don't know. I don't think so, are they? Right, now what can we do to help ourselves here? I say a little prayer, I think.
Water in the chamber churns as the Koku matron leaps out.
My god, we're down to half health already. Is it dead? Yes, yes. Nice. That's another one for the close wounds crowd, because other than spamming that, there was no way I would have got by with just Cure Serious there, I think. Yeah, I think we did okay there. I was pleased with how the sound burst held up against those things, because they really would have taken us to the cleaners. It took us so long to put them down.
The barrier encircling the mind vanishes.
Happy days. So with the saga, that'll give us the next level. What did we say we were going to do? One of you mentioned it already. Some things on 8 that we like to do. Oh yeah, the first two of the Temple of Elemental Evil I like to do. So, and especially since they redid that, there's some tasty gear in there as well. At least one of the pieces we showcased in the last life with purple, the glasses with is it double strike and insightful, double strike and deadly, and all the good stuff for the melee side of things. And I think there's a ranged equivalent as well, so nice to have. I think they drop in the first part of that temple thing. In fact, that would have been a good one to test ourselves in, but so too was this last one, so no complaints. So yeah, we'll have a go at the first couple of the temple. What else is the level 8 wise that we could perhaps like to dip our paws into before we level? Zorian Cipher, possibly. No, I don't think you need 4 in total, don't you? So I'd need to have 2 hirelings in there and summon a monster. No, I'm not messing about with that. Necro 2, no thanks. Yeah, the 2 temple, the first bits, first and second bit, I quite like. I'm not a big fan of these earth node, air node, all that kind of thing. I have done them, but the air node in particular, I just think's a bit. And the final one, I've died horribly in the end room, as I'm sure many of you have. Oh yeah, we've got the first couple of the ones in Kundarak to do, haven't we? Thrask and the prisoner. So we'll be doing them as well. And slave lords, probably. Well, we don't need to, do we? Would be an interesting test of the build. I think we've got a nice mixture of single target and AoE to do okay in there. And the haunted library, I bet we'd clean up because there's a lot of undead there, isn't there? Could just do that just as a bit of a test. See how the Holy Smite goes on in there. It's made for it, that. Right, I'm waffling on. All in all, not too bad that. I don't think we ever looked like getting totaled, which was good. The sound burst held up well against those crowns, kept us out of taking horrible damage that they would have given. I need to go to the Jurassico shop and see if I can collect some of those. Although actually, thinking about it, I should wait until 11 and then we can have the greater resto scrolls. And I bet Favoured Soul doesn't even have a check to see if they can use those. So let's do it that way. And then any stat damage and things we can just get rid of that way. Right, it's been a pretty good one, I think that. I will thank you all as usual for giving us a look, and hope you're all having a decent weekend. We'll speak to you in the next one. Take care.